African Union Communications, Early Warning, and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of January 5, 2026. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct the special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces, as a result of active actions, took control of the populated locality of Grabovsko in the Sumy region. A defeat was inflicted on the formations of the Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the populated localities of Miropolye and Sadki in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, a defeat was inflicted on the units of the Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the populated localities of Volchansky, Kutory, and Grafskoye in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 290 servicemen, a tank, 4 armored combat vehicles, 15 vehicles, and a field artillery gun. 3 electronic warfare stations, 6 ammunition and materiel depots were destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces took more advantageous positions and positions. A defeat was inflicted on the manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Territorial Defense Brigade and a National Guard Brigade in the areas of the populated localities of Krivaya Lyman, Ilichivka, Alexandrovka, Drobyshevo in the Donetsk People's Republic, Kupiansk-Uzlovoy, Blagodatovka, and Staroverovka in the Kharkiv region. The enemy losses were more than 180 troops, 4 armored fighting vehicles, 15 motor vehicles, and 4 ammunition depots. Units of the South Group of Forces improved their positions on the forward edge. A defeat was inflicted on the manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, an infantry brigade, an airborne brigade, an airmobile brigade, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a marine infantry brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the populated localities of Grishino, Torsko, Novoalexandrovka, Dobropole, Belitskoye, Toretsko in the Donetsk People's Republic, Novopavlovka, and Novopodgorodnoye in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy losses were more than 180 troops, 1 tank, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 4 artillery guns, and 21 motor vehicles. Units of the Center Group of Forces units took more advantageous lines and positions. Russian troops delivered strikes at manpower and hardware of 2 mechanized brigades, 1 infantry brigade, 1 air assault brigade, 1 airmobile brigade, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 1 marine brigade, 1 territorial defense brigade, and 1 National Guard brigade close to Grishino, Torskoye, Novoalexandrovka, Dobropolye, Belitskoye, Toretskoye in the Donetsk People's Republic, Novopavlovka, and Novopodgorodnoye in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy losses were more than 350 troops, 12 armored fighting vehicles, and 6 pickup trucks. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance into the depth of the enemy's defense. The armed forces and armored vehicles of mechanized and assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a terror defense brigade were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Tsvetkove, Zalishnoye, Vozdvichka in the Zaporizhia region and Bratsko in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 220 servicemen, a combat armored vehicle, and 2 vehicles. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces defeated the formations of a mechanized brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a terror defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Orakov, Belogori, Novoyakovlevka in the Zaporizhia region, and Antonovka in the Kherson region. Up to 45 Ukrainian servicemen, a combat armored vehicle, 2 field artillery guns, 10 vehicles, and an electronic warfare station were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation defeated the enterprises of the military-industrial complex of Ukraine, the infrastructure of military airfields, the workshops for the production and assembly of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, a drone operator training center, and the temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 148 districts. Air defense systems shot down 3 guided aerial bombs, 3 U.S.-made HIMARS MLRS projectiles, and 356 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 670 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 107,569 unmanned aerial vehicles, 642 anti-aircraft missile systems, 26,922 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,636 MLRS combat vehicles, 32,390 field artillery guns and mortars, 50,851 units of support military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.